On our island home, we love to get into the rhythm by inventing dancing steps to keep us moving. Dirt bounce has just become one of my favorites. Think about it for a second. Dirt might be considered an unclean substance, particularly when it encounters a person's clothing, skin, or property. But when you plant a seed in dirt, you will see it grow, because dirt contains nutrients and acts as a fertilizer. So really, dirt isn't just dirty. That dirt on you might just be helping you to grow into the person you need to be. So, next time a little dirt is on you, just do the dirt bounce. Dirt bounce. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. We have lots in store for you today, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, March 17, 2023. Government has increased the national minimum wage by 44%, reflecting the largest jump in over 20 years. Effective June 1 this year, the current figure of $9,000 will move to $13,000 per 40-hour work week. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement during his contribution to the 2023-2024 budget debate yesterday. Mr. Holness points out that since assuming office in 2016, the minimum wage has moved from $6,200 to $13,000, representing a 110% increase over the 7-year period. This, he says, reflects his administration's full commitment to providing minimum wage earners with a livable income.
We recognize that the contribution of minimum wage earners, such as household workers, artisans, laborers, store clerks, and security personnel, is vital to the success of our manufacturers, hotel professionals, lawyers, doctors, and teachers in meeting our national productivity and service targets.
As it relates to industrial security guards, Prime Minister Holness says the minimum wage will increase from $10,500 to $14,000 per week. This will also take effect June 1, 2023.
We have engaged employers in the security industry to improve the conditions of work for our security guards, ensuring that the necessary statutory payments are made so that they will qualify for housing and national insurance pension. The
loan limit for a single applicant to the National Housing Trust NHT has increased by $1 million to $7.5 million. The 15% increase will take effect July 1. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement during his contribution to the 2023-2024 budget debate in the House of Representatives yesterday. He adds that where a single contributor is buying a house for $12 million or less, that person can access up to $8.5 million for mortgage financing.
What this does is to target the incentive to more affordable priced housing solutions. Madam Speaker, this is to incentivize housing developments in the affordable housing for low-income earners section of the market. This will also create more effective demand for housing solutions at the targeted price point.
Mr. Holness says the NHT will continue to provide 100% financing for houses built by the trust, subject to the availability of funding for such purposes. In addition, 2 people applying jointly will be able to access funding of up to $15 million. The previous figure was $13 million. Also effective July 1, the NHT is to introduce a new interest rate band of 5% for persons earning over $100,000 weekly.
Less than 8% of contributors will fall in the new income band. So the higher interest rate will affect a small number of persons.
The distribution of NHT contributors by income band shows that 66% are eligible for mortgage financing at 0% interest. Special security operations will be established for key infrastructure projects as government aims to ensure they are not hijacked by criminals seeking to illicitly benefit from public resources through extortion or holding up work schedules. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF and the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA are tasked with this responsibility.
In the coming fiscal year, the government will be undertaking several major infrastructural projects across the island. The National Security Council discussed this specific type of threat, and we have tasked the JCF and MOCA to establish special security operations around these projects.
In support of government's push to increase the size of Jamaica's trained labor force, the Hart NSTA Trust will be removing all tuition and administrative fees for its programs up to level 4. This takes effect April 1 and is for programs up to the associate degree level.
This will allow for access to vocational training for all Jamaicans, regardless of economic status. This will be a game changer for poor, underserved youth who see fees as an obstacle for their participation in formal training.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Hart has also been directed to modernize its offerings in response to worldwide trends towards automation, smart manufacturing, artificial intelligence, and high-value services. In keeping with that, the Trust is developing centers of excellence and STEAM labs at several of its institutions. The training institution will also continue its collaboration with the Ministry of Education's Hope Legs program. A special internship will be provided for 500 promising 5th and 6th form graduates who have not matriculated to further studies. They will be placed in government entities or with other private sector partners for a period of 1 year.
During the internship, participants will be supported with a stipend of $70,000 monthly. They will be assisted with the establishment of bank accounts and passports and other civil documents. There will also be a saving component where each candidate will receive a lump sum of $120,000 after completion.
Government is cutting the renewal fees for route taxi, hackney carriage, rural stage carriage, and contract carriers of public passenger vehicles by 30% for a period of 1 year. It's among several measures announced by the Prime Minister to transform public transport in Jamaica.
This incentive is given to allow operators to regularize themselves and avoid tickets.
During the period that renewal fees will be reduced, the Ministry of Transport is directed to establish an updated database of all operators to ensure that more are in a position to benefit from government interventions such as the CARE program. Government will also be introducing a short course for all public passenger vehicle drivers to improve their quality of service, behavior, and awareness. This will be administered by the Island Traffic Authority in collaboration with the Hart NSTA Trust.
All drivers who register and complete the course will be formally certified, and they will receive a $25,000 grant from the government of Jamaica.
10,000 helmets will be provided free of cost for motorcycle riders who go through the short course. In addition, the special DBJ loan window that was announced last year for transport operators to refleet or upgrade their vehicles is being recrafted to facilitate access on preferential terms for persons who would like to change their current vehicle or motorcycle to an electric vehicle or motorcycle. And the National Works Agency has been directed to collaborate with the Ministry of Transport to assess the adequacy of parking, loading bays, and approved stops in all urban areas and townships and along all approved routes. The NWA is also to prepare a specific budget for high use and critical loading and parking areas to be funded in the next budget. Prime Minister Holness says he will be arranging consultations with the various taxi groups in the coming weeks to further explore their concerns. And finally, government will be making 10,000 polyethylene water tanks or black tanks available to needs-assessed households across Jamaica, starting with a focus on the areas most affected by the current drought. The black tanks will be issued in the upcoming financial year, which begins April 1, and will be placed on the National GIS database.
This will give us valuable information about household storage capacity and how to plan for the delivery of water to those tanks. Households on path, households recommended by MPs and assessed by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation will qualify for the tanks according to the rules of the program.
A parallel project will assist households to convert these tanks, where possible, into rainwater harvesting systems connected to their roofs. The Hart NSTA Trust will be tasked with developing a national service corps of trainee plumbers and future water engineers to install these tanks and convert them into rainwater harvesting systems.
This will be a 5-year program with the objective that every water vulnerable household must have storage and rainwater capabilities to withstand drought and water service disruption.
In tandem with this, the Prime Minister says early in the new fiscal year, the administration will table a ministry paper with guidelines for rainwater harvesting. Mr. Holness will also be tabling Jamaica's Water Resources Master Plan, recently completed by the Water Resources Authority. And that is it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
If between January 1 and December 31, you are a parliamentarian or public official in receipt of total emoluments of $3.5 million or above, or you are appointed or perform the functions of a position listed in the Jamaica Gazette, December 14, 2022, regarding the Integrity Commission Act, you are required to file a statutory declaration of assets, liabilities, and income as at December 31. What to file? You are required to declare all balances and interest in all assets, liabilities, and income received by you, your spouse, and children below the age of 18, whether living in Jamaica or abroad. It should be noted that a person who knowingly makes a false statement in a statutory declaration may be liable to a fine not exceeding $2 million or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 2 years. The Integrity Commission has implemented its zero-tolerance policy. All declarants are to submit all outstanding statutory declarations. Failure to submit a statutory declaration may attract a fine of not exceeding $500,000 or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 6 months. The Integrity Commission has decentralized the collection of statutory declarations. Submit your statutory declarations for the previous calendar year securely within your organization on or before March 31 of the following year. Here's how. Firstly, complete your statutory declaration. Ensure you have entered the correct as-at date, for example, December 31, 2022. NA or C attached is never an appropriate response. Use none and list all required balances. Copy or print additional pages where necessary. Ensure all the sections are signed. A justice of the peace is required to validate your signature by signing, entering the date, location, and affixing their embossed seal. Attach the relevant supporting documents. ATM printouts are not accepted. You then proceed to your in-house collection point. Collect a statutory declaration envelope and security seal. Place the required information on the statutory declaration envelope, seal the envelope, and affix the security seal. Deposit the secure envelope in the Integrity Commission branded collection container or with your designated officer on or before March 31. Finally, enter your name and date of submission on the Integrity Commission log sheet. The designated officer should deposit the white copy of the log sheet in the collection container on April 1. Retain the yellow copy for the files and facilitate the submission of the collection container to the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission will register your statutory declaration and send you a receipt by email on or before May 13. After submission, the statutory declaration is examined for due completion and accuracy, where the Integrity Commission is satisfied that the statutory declaration has been duly completed, certification is done, and an advisory issued to the declarant. Submit your statutory declaration completely and accurately and get on the path to certification. For more information, visit our office on the 4th floor of the Sagicor Sigma building at 63 to 67 Knutsford Boulevard, Kingston 5, or give us a call at 876-968-6227 or 876-960-0470. The following is an excerpt from the 2023-2024 budget presentation by Prime Minister the Most Honourable Andrew Holness.
This administration is fully committed to providing minimum wage earners with a livable wage as part of its commitment to prosperity for our people. The Minister of Finance has announced a $1 trillion budget with no new taxes. This is a clear strategy by the government to ensure that there is no erosion of the income of Jamaicans. We recognize that the contribution of minimum wage earners, such as household workers, artisans, laborers, store clerks, and security personnel, is vital to the success of our manufacturers, hotel professionals, lawyers, doctors, and teachers in meeting our national productivity and service targets. Therefore, we are pleased to announce that starting June 1, 2023, the national minimum wage will increase from $9,000 per 40-hour week to $13,000 per 40-hour week. Madam Speaker, this represents a 44% increase. Madam Speaker, that is the largest increase in 20 years. Madam Speaker, since assuming office in 2016, the minimum wage has increased from $6,200 to $13,000. So this administration has increased the minimum wage by 110% in 7 years. Cumulative inflation over the period, cumulative inflation over the same period was less than 50%. And even in US dollars, it represents a 66% increase in the minimum wage. The government has done more. This government, the Andrew Holness-led administration, your government, our government, has done more than any previous government to create prosperity for Jamaica and Jamaicans. And we are proud to share the gains with all Jamaicans. Madam Speaker, I know everyone is wondering what the government intends to do for the security industry. The security industry supports every other industry in Jamaica. This administration is deeply saddened by the fact that in recent times, so many of our security guards have come under attack, and too many have lost their lives on the front line. We have engaged employers in the security industry to improve the conditions of work for our security guards, ensuring that the necessary statutory payments are made so that they will qualify for housing and national insurance pension. Today, I announce a significant increase in the minimum wage for our industrial security guards. The minimum wage for industrial security guards will move from $10,500 per week to $14,000 per week. Madam Speaker, this will also take effect from June 1, 2023. I want to just make a footnote here, Madam Speaker. You will notice that the differential between the national minimum wage and the minimum wage for the security guards has been narrowed. Only $1,000 separate them now. The next time we come to increase the minimum wage, that differential will be removed. The purpose of the differential was to account for the special circumstances of the security guards. Now, basically, the security guard is a worker, so an employee, and therefore is covered by the same legal standards. And therefore, the need for a differential no longer exists. But we wouldn't have done it in just one go. Right, they were paid for 60 hours, yes. But we wouldn't just make such a change in one go. So I give notice from now that the differential would be removed.
For the fiscal year 2023 to 2024, the government proposes to spend a total of $1 trillion. Let's see how some of that money will be spent.
The ministry aimed to establish a program that would facilitate improvements in our production, our food safety, technology, and capacity building.
For activities during the fiscal year 2023 to 2024, the Ministry of Agriculture and the Fisheries will be spending $21.2 billion. Of that sum, $7 billion will be used for development projects to lessen the negative effects of drought on agricultural output, increase competitiveness, improve soil fertility, and rehabilitate research centers.
Some of the programs currently being undertaken by the ministry that are aimed at modernizing the sector, expanding production, and improving productivity include rehabilitation of the research centers project, soil mapping project, Essex Valley Agricultural Development Project, Southern Plains Agricultural Development, promoting community-based climate resilient fisheries. Under the rehabilitation of research centers, Bodles Phase 1, the ministry spent just under $1 billion with a B. Let me do that again. $1 billion with a B to modernize the research and development component of the sector. Phase 2 will be underway shortly. We're going to move on to soil fertility mapping. This remains a critical component in the management of our soil's sustainability. We expect building to be ongoing to position the sector to enhance productivity, to develop soil profiles, and to ensure that we are planting crops appropriate for the soil types to facilitate expansion of our productivity and production. As it relates to irrigation, we are proud to report that the Essex Valley project, valued at just under $6 billion Jamaican dollars, is now underway. As it relates to the Southern Plains Agricultural Development Project, which is valued at $2.5 billion, that project covers 745 hectares across sections of St. Catherine and the Clarendon Plains. The project, called the Promoting Community-Based Climate Resilience Fisheries, is valued at $4.875 million US dollars, or 740 odd million Jamaican. This project is a deliberate effort by the ministry to address the environmental and climate-related issues impacting the blue economy.
The ministry is also finalizing payments under a project that was designed to increase agricultural competitiveness.
All of this will help us as we drive Jamaica towards food security.
Mommy?
Yes, Zoe?
Can we read this book? It will only take 10 minutes.
Sure, sit down. Every spring, Madame Angel Wing arranges a...
Do you have 10 minutes? Read with your child today. Reading with your children for just 10 minutes each day helps develop their language and listening skills, stimulates their imagination, and expands their understanding of the world. So, start reading with your child today.
From that $1 trillion in government expenditures, $1.5 billion will be given to the Ministry of Education and Youth. The breakdown will be shown in our upcoming feature.
We will continue to do all we can from an overall perspective of the education sector to continue the transformation so that not only the top 10% of schools excel, but all schools.
As part of the ongoing efforts to reconnect, renew, and recommit the education system for 2023 and beyond, the Jamaican government is investing more than $1.5 billion in the modernization of the education sector for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. It is also committing over $146 billion towards maintaining the delivery of quality educational services and protecting children and the youth. Here are some of the major programs and initiatives for this year and beyond. Over $305 million will be spent on Phase 2 of the Education Transformation Program, designed to alleviate the shift system and secondary school overcrowding. The capital budget for this year will fund the start of construction on Mount St. Joseph High School's 3rd and 4th form blocks, as well as the auditorium. There are also plans to finish building the administrative block. To offer top-notch services to special education students, 3 special education diagnostic centers are being constructed. 2 have been completed at the Sam Sharp and Church Teachers Colleges. And this year, the government is providing $30 million to complete the 3rd at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case. About $1 billion will be invested in support of a primary and secondary infrastructure program. This project includes additional work to complete the wastewater treatment systems at Black River and Pepin High Schools. And the architectural and civil structural designs will be completed for Dias Infant, Bound Brook Primary, and Aberdeen, Bel Air, Denham Town, Nain, New Forest, and Stony Hill High Schools. Alongside that, complete electrical upgrades are in the works for Seaforth, McGrath, Albert Town, Spanish Town, Homewood, and Edwin Allen High Schools, to name a few. Also, Kingston and Onoto Bay High Schools, plus Nago Head, Bridgeport, and Golden Spring Primary Schools will have security fencing installed. As the modernization work continues, a further $159 million has been allocated for Phase 2 of the Education System Transformation Project ESTEP in the upcoming fiscal year. The objective is to enhance student results, capital and human resource management, and school infrastructure by 2025-2026. By 2028-2029, this will comprise, among other things, the building of 6 new STEAM academies and 1 institution for visual and performing arts at the secondary level.
We've spent, as a government, quite a bit of resources ensuring that our students have devices, that all our schools across Jamaica have adequate connectivity.
Geotechnical studies and other assessments and the creation of a legal and governance framework for STEAM schools are among the objectives for fiscal year 2023-2024, as is the creation of codified building standards for learning institutions incorporating green building strategies. Reconnect, renew, and recommit. The goal is to support a healthy, stable population while also providing Jamaican students and teachers with world-class education and training.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.